Surviving in the African savannah requires wit and guile, especially for two of its hunters, wild dogs and dwarf mongooses. These two enigmatic species live in packs and rely on well-coordinated teamwork to succeed. From looking after youngsters to finding food and warding off enemies. Both species rely on their tight-knit families to overcome the challenges of everyday life. These are two of Africa's killer packs. Sunrise over the South African bushveld. A pack of African wild dogs is beginning to stir. There's a busy day ahead. With 9 mouths to feed, these consummate killers hunt twice a day. A family of dwarf mongooses is also greeting the early morning sunshine. They have new arrivals, and keeping everyone fed, safe and happy is a full-time occupation. Although it's not going to be easy. It's December, supposedly the wet season. But a punishing drought is ravishing the eastern parts of South Africa. Clouds promise rain, but nothing has fallen for months. The ground is grazed bare. Plants and animals are falling victim to the trying conditions. Macabre statues litter the ground. Rivers have run dry. Hardy succulents are the only green. To prevent water loss, few trees still carry a canopy worth consuming. Only the circling vultures seem content. The dogs are coping better than most in the drought. Many of their antelope prey are weak from hunger. The pups are 6 months old and only recently joined the hunting pack. The dominant male is also awake. He's fitted with a radio collar so that conservationists can monitor the pack. They've named him Merlot. He has a lot on his shoulders. Poachers killed his female partner almost a month ago. Since then, Merlot's been raising his family with only one other adult male for help. This is very unusual. If his family is to survive, Merlot must lead his pack in the hunt and also find another female partner. Typically, a predominantly monogamous dominant pair leads the wild dog pack together. And they are often the only ones in the family that breed. All other pack members assist in raising the youngsters. Merlot marks the ground, reinforcing his status. It's also an advertisement to any females that visit the area. Pinotage, the other adult male, nuzzles his pack leader in a display of subservience. The younger members of the pack are blissfully unaware of the challenges facing their father. Play fighting develops strength and also reinforces family bonds. These bonds help forge a cohesive hunting unit, which is key to the pack's success. Living in a group allows them to kill bigger prey, and also helps them defend their kills against hyenas and lions that would steal from the successful pack. Wild dogs are cursorial, meaning they hunt on the leg, covering vast distances, tracking and hunting prey. This is in contrast to many of Africa's big cats, such as lions and leopards, which tend to stalk their prey for short distances, relying on stealth and quick bursts of speed for success. Wild dogs will pursue prey for miles, literally running it to exhaustion. This means they need large home ranges, which is a problem on a continent with such a rapidly expanding human population. African wild dog numbers have plummeted because of habitat destruction over the last 100 years. And with fewer than 5,000 dogs remaining in the wild, conservationists make every effort to ensure families such as this one thrive. Dwarf mongooses also rely on their tight-knit packs to survive. They're the smallest mongoose species, roughly 30 centimeters from their nose to the tip of their tail, and weigh less than 250 grams. To survive, they must work closely together. Dwarf mongooses share the workload out amongst family members. It's one of the best examples of the division of labor in the animal kingdom. The sentinels are up first, checking for would-be predators from the top of the mound. Even though they're voracious predators in their own right, when you're this small, you have to be vigilant to avoid becoming a target yourself. So there's always someone on the lookout when the pack is out and about. The sentinel signals the all clear and joins the rest of the family below. A caregiver ferries the youngsters out of the home, an old termite mound. This isn't their mother. The dominant female suppresses all other females, and she's the only one who breeds. Subordinates assist her and often take on babysitting roles, while the rest of the pack is foraging. Life in the family is collaborative, and returning hunters share food with the babies and babysitters back home. Dwarf mongooses breed in the wet season so that there's plenty of insect prey for the growing youngsters. But the unseasonal drought has caught this family unawares. This year, they will have to work even harder if they are to raise a successful brood. Merlot rallies his troops. There's a long way to go. Wild dogs traverse many kilometers a day while hunting, with their economical loping gait. Their home ranges often extend 1,500 square kilometers or more. Neighboring territories overlap slightly, but rival packs rarely meet. To overcome their daily challenges, the family has to work together as a unit. For them, life in the pack is everything, and it's strictly organized so that the workload is shared between family members. Much like mongooses, caregivers remain in a den with the pups after they're first born, while the pack hunts. Returning pack members will regurgitate food for those left behind. This need to carry enough food back to the den is one driving force in the evolution of these larger collaborative packs. Back at the termite mound, the mongooses are also on the move. The pack rotates through 5 or 6 dens in their territory over the course of a month or so. They seldom stay longer than a few days in any one site. Their first task today is moving the babies to a suitable nursery area. The dominant male and female lead the way. This rocky outcrop near their home is one of their favorites. There's plenty of shelter for both the babysitters and the pups. The babysitters begin ferrying the pups to their rocky creche. They'll remain here until the family returns. An adult cautiously sniffs the rocks. There are signs of intruders. Because of the drought, a neighboring family has been moving in on their turf. Their territory is about 1 kilometer square. The babysitter marks the rocks, reaffirming this pack's claim to the site. Even with the hiding places among the boulders, the adults are hyper-alert to potential predators. Such as African wildcats and a variety of raptors. And the mongooses are not the only ones who are vulnerable. During droughts, antelope are often at risk because they're weakened by limited food and their need to congregate around scarce water holes. Inyala are prime targets for wild dogs in this part of South Africa, comprising 90% of the pack's kills. With limited moisture available in their forage, the animals rely on standing water such as this. Inyala are shy animals, preferring the thickets and dense savanna woodlands around water. Males are almost 30% larger than females, standing a little over a meter at the shoulder. And they carry horns, which they use to fight for dominance. Like the mongooses, many of the mothers have timed their births to coincide with the expected rains. The bush is full of youngsters, but without enough moisture, herds are going hungry. Plains zebra are picking through the dry grass, while impala nibble on a range of fodder. The food is low quality, and everyone's scratching to make ends meet. Impala have it better than most, because they can shift their food from grass to leaves and shoots, depending on what's available. Moving away from the waterhole, the Inyala need to remain alert to predators. Lions and leopards roam these woods, and most importantly, so do the wild dogs. Half of the 14-strong family of mongooses is also on the hunt. But their prey is more bite-sized. Insects, snails, scorpions, earthworms and birds' eggs are on the menu. They'll even gang up on large venomous snakes, relying on their speed and agility to circumvent the danger. But food is scarce in the drought, so the mongooses are chasing anything that moves. A gaudy rock agama is advertising for mates. But his bright mating colors attract some unwanted attention. You have to be faster than that, however, to catch a lizard in the open. The mongoose has to settle for a juicy centipede instead. As the hunters root about, digging and scratching for food, they're vulnerable, as they can't keep a watch for predators. To overcome this, individuals take turns standing guard. These sentinels keep up a constant chatter, reassuring those below. This early warning system is very specific, and sentinels use different calls for different threats. He's seen something. A pair of young tawny eagles. The alarm call signals danger above. And everyone hurriedly scurries to the rocks for shelter. While the mongoose family finds what it needs within the vicinity of its home, Merlot's pack heads further afield in search of prey. The dogs occasionally target young giraffes if they're feeling bold. But these adults are far too large to be worried. True to character, the pack passes brazenly out in the open. They're not concerned with being seen, unlike typical ambush predators such as lions. They operate mainly during the day, relying on their mottled yellow and black coats for camouflage. The pack keeps moving on a marathon for a meal. The zebra also stand their ground as the pack passes. But the wildebeest take no chances. They needn't worry. Today, Merlot is leading his pack towards another target. He maintains a relentless pace. The youngsters can do little else but follow his lead. He knows exactly what he's looking for. A young Inyala, or lone impala. One of these will be easier prey for his relatively small and inexperienced pack. Ordinarily, the older and larger the pack, the easier the hunt. But Merlot's family is coping fine for now. His pups may be young, but they have the instincts of true natural-born killers. This is what he's been looking for. Nyala, hiding in the thicket. They make a run for it, and the dogs give chase. But it's over quickly. The pack has struck the jackpot. They've caught a female Nyala and her calf in close succession. Wild dogs are one of the most successful hunters in the savannah. Once a prey item is targeted, the pack is successful roughly 80% of the time. The pups make short work of their kill. Each dog eats as much as it can, gorging itself on almost 5 kilograms of meat. They'll only eat fresh kills. And unlike many of their close relatives, such as jackals, they never scavenge. The pack keeps a lookout. They know there are lions and hyenas about, which will readily steal their kill. For now, the coast is clear. It's been a good day for the pack leader. Stomachs bulging, the family heads for the shade, avoiding the midday heat. A grey go-away bird calls for a mate. It's been a slower morning back at the rocky nursery, and the midday heat is also affecting the mongooses. This babysitter's keeping cool by pancaking, lying stretched out in the shade. But it pays to be alert, and someone is always standing guard. Tummies full, the foraging mongooses head for home. And for the moment, a sense of calm descends. The only thing breaking the peace is the incessant screeching of cicadas. A fork-tailed drongo doesn't seem to be feeling the heat. But the Nyala and Impala retreat into the shade like everyone else. As the afternoon wears on, a slight change in the wind signals a change in everyone's fortunes. The clouds are building. With the heat of the day subsiding, the dwarf mongooses head out once more. The dominant pair is concerned with the neighbors' incursions, and they have some important work to do on the borders of their territory. The dominant stands on his front legs to mark as high as possible on the rocks with his anal glands. This helps pass on information about the size and therefore competitive ability of the marker. Everyone in the family marks. But males face competition from rival males from the neighboring families. So they invest more energy in scent marking than females, marking both 3 times more frequently and significantly higher to claim their spot. Ironically, the smaller the male, the higher they tend to mark, in what seems like a form of competitive deception. This marking helps prevent conflict between families. Satisfied with their afternoon's work, the mongooses head for the nursery. They return to the rocky outcrop to collect the babysitters and take the pups back to the mound. They dash across the open space, ever wary of the risk from predators. But in the rush, somebody's been left behind. He calls for help. It isn't long before he's missed back home. And a rescuer is dispatched to retrieve the little lost one. Safe at last. And there's time to enjoy the afternoon from the safety of the mound. The call of a Burchell's cuckoo, known locally as the rain bird, can mean only one thing. There's a sense of expectation at the mound. And within Merlot's pack. Soon enough, following months of purgatory, the rains come. Warm, moist air drifting in from the Indian Ocean penetrates the interior, delivering its life-giving load. A pair of mating centrobolus millipedes makes the most of the rejuvenated environment. Rivers spring to life, quenching the bushveld. The water is back. And Merlot's pack can't seem to contain their excitement. The trees and bushes sprout new leaves. The young mongooses look out in wonder at their bright new world. Their first rainstorm leaves them strangely exhilarated. The world is full of new sounds and smells. Things are looking up. Their favored prey of invertebrates will bounce back. The dogs are on the move once more. They detect a new presence on the breeze. The principal challenge facing Merlot's young pack now is finding another female to replace its dead alpha. Dominant fathers almost never mate with siblings and relatives. This helps avoid complications from inbreeding. The pack is intoxicated with the new scent in the neighborhood. They're in luck. Conservationists have introduced a new female to the area. She's confined in a temporary boma, giving her time to acclimatize and to give the pack time to accept her. The youngsters whine in greeting. Merlot seems interested. And things are looking good. If all continues to go well, the managers will open the gates in a few weeks' time. And she will join the pack, and they will run free together. With the serious drought broken, conditions are getting better for everyone on the South African savannas. Life is returning to the bush. And things are looking up for Merlot's young pack. With a new alpha female, the pack's got a successful future ahead of it. The good times have also returned for the dwarf mongooses. Their prey is rebounding after the rain. And there will be plenty of food for their growing brood. For now, life in the killer packs of the savannah is returning to normal.